As a father myself, I strongly believe that it's a good idea. I think that the access to social media for under 16 is a danger to children.
Is the age assurance technology trial and what we're doing at ShareRing limited just to social media?
There's a belief that the government are using this as, I guess, a de facto identity card or a way to track people. This provides the ability to keep your kids away from potentially dangerous parts of the internet. So as a father, that's something that I completely support. Hi, I'm Tim Boss and I'm the founder and CTO of ShareRing. And
Hi, I'm Ryan Bessemer. I'm the CEO of ShareRing. Today, we're going to be talking about the age assurance technology trial in Australia. So Tim, tell us a little bit more about what ShareRing is doing with the AATT.
Sure. So first of all, there's been a lot of press about the age assurance technology trial. So the trial is to look at and do age verification for people that are using social media sites. The idea is that people under the age of 16 cannot access social media sites, and it's reserved for people that are 16 and over. As a father myself, I strongly believe that it's a good idea. I think that the access to social media for under 16 is a danger to children, but also takes them away from actually getting out and playing and more productive things on their computers and so on. It's also very, very controversial because there's a belief that the government are using this as, I guess, a de facto identity card or a way to track people using the internet. Now, this is where ShareRing comes in. So we're here to help change the narrative of that through the ShareRing Me app. Part of what we can do within the ShareRing Me app is something that's called a zero knowledge question. So that's basically the ability to ask someone, are they over 18? Are they over 16, 13, whatever age? And them to be able to respond with the app and say that, yes, I'm over 16, but without sharing any other information. So ShareRing, as a company, we don't store any information about our users. All of the information that they have, that our users have, is stored within the ShareRing Me app in something that we call the digital me, which is part of our vault. So that information, once you've verified your identity, you'll be able to go onto a social media site, either on your phone or a website. As part of logging in, you'll be presented with a QR code to verify that you're over 16, or if it's even an adult sort of website, not safe for work type website, it could be even a Discord channel that's not safe for work. You may need to be over 18 to access that. So you simply either scan the QR code or within our app, you tap the link and then you'll get through. It's seamless, it's fast. We don't believe that it's going to impact people's access to these websites. In fact, their whole privacy first approach means that the information is stored, is always private, is never shared with anyone. You can't track that you've accessed this website at all. We don't share any of that information with the government or anything like that. So we're really excited to be part of this trial.
So tell me, Tim, using social media platforms as an example, how do these platforms adhere to their sort of regulatory requirements using, say, the ShareRing ecosystem?
So effectively, what the requirement is going to be is that these social media platforms need to have gated entry to it. So it's not just a username and password or something like that. And that gated entry will pop up with a request to verify that you are over 16 for social media sites or over 18 for adult websites, or there'll be other sorts of sites that come under that trial as well in the future. So basically, that gate is effectively saying, are you over 16? We are not the only technology that's part of this, right? There are other technologies that are being trialed. Some of them is age estimation technology, and we are part of the age verification technology. So we don't estimate the age. We actually create a black and white answer of, yes, this person is over 16, or no, that person is under 16. If you meet the requirements, then you'll be allowed to get through to that social media site.
So what are the benefits of age verification over age estimation?
Well, I mean, age estimation is just that. It's estimating your age generally based on a photo, or there's some other really creative mechanisms of doing that. So the older you get, so the closer you get to, say, the age of 16, 17, 18, we've actually found through our own testing is the less accurate it is. Now, I guess for some younger people, that's fine. If there's a gray area between the age of 15 and 16 and old enough is good enough, then that's fine. What we do through our technology is we create certainty. And so we actually provide information to say whether or not this person is over 16 or over 18 or whatever age is required.
So we're seeing a lot in the media, and there's a lot of discussion around age verification or age assurance for social media. But tell me, is the age assurance technology trial and what we're doing at ShareRing limited just to social media?
Oh no, not at all. We're doing a lot of projects outside of just age verification. So one of the projects, or outside of just the age assurance trial, one of the projects is rolling out for nightlife to prove that you're over 18 to be able to access nightclubs. That can be used in places like liquor stores. So buying alcohol in person, you can prove that you're over 18 for that. That could also be used for online entertainment. So sites where it's only for adults, so over 18, it can be used for that. It can also be used for other, pretty much anything. I mean, the sky's the limit in terms of what you can use our technology for to verify something about yourself.
So our participation in AATT really opens new markets for ShareRing and really validates what we are doing in terms of age verification. What do you think the impacts will be for ShareRing?
Wow. So as we stated earlier, this is a trial, right? So what's actually happening is an organisation that's been engaged by the Australian government is working with us to actually test our technology in a number of scenarios. So that will be with different demographics of people, different ethnicities, and so on and so on. And effectively, once we get through this and all of the information's reviewed, the opportunity for us is the potential to have the Sharing Me app in the pocket of every single Australian. The sky's the limit for where we can go with this.
So the world is sort of watching Australia and what's happening with the AATT, and we've had a lot of questions around visibility of what we're doing in Australia because it may be used in other markets as well. So what are the international implications?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's already bills being passed in a number of countries that ban social media for kids under 14. In Florida, for example, the UK has their act that they're passing for age verification for social media, and there are other states in the US that have also either passed it or are looking to pass it. One of the important things about this is Australia is at the forefront of this. No other countries have introduced technology to be able to mandate this and also to be able to protect the privacy of its people as part of going through this process. So in terms of the rollout, once the Australian one actually starts really kicking off beyond the testing phase, the opportunity around the world is just staggering. It really is staggering. And I think from our perspective, our narrative is all around privacy by design, right? So we believe in protecting our users' privacy whilst allowing them to prove something about themselves without sharing any information or with sharing as little information as possible. So I'm really excited for the future of this and what we're doing.
And this leads into what we've always spoken about as sort of zero knowledge proof. Tell us a little bit about that.
So zero knowledge provides the ability for me to effectively tell you about something about myself without sharing any information, right? So it's really just the ability to ask a yes or no question.
So that question could be, are you over the age of 16 or over the age of 18 or over the age of 21?
Yes. That's exactly right. So you could basically say, are you over 16? Or you need to be over 16 to be able to access this website. Are you over 16? And then using the ShareRing app, you can simply answer yes without sharing any other information.
Unlike the old process of saying entering a licensed facility like a nightclub or something where you're handing over your license or your passport that has a lot of personal information, effectively what you're doing is you're just handing a piece of information that says, I'm over the age of 18 or over the age of 21.
Yeah, well, we did a trial in Miami recently. And we've done other trials in other countries previous to that, but we did a trial in Miami where we effectively demonstrated that. And what happened was we had a little tablet set up and a screen with a QR code reader on it, and the customer would simply go up and they'd show the QR code in the Sharing Me app to prove that they were over 21 to be able to access that club. They also proved that they had a ticket to be able to access that club. So they held the QR code up, it scanned the QR code, and what happened on the screen is it displayed a selfie of their face and then a tick saying this person is over 21 and another tick saying that this person has a ticket. No other information was seen by the bouncer standing at the door when they looked at it. So they looked at it and says, yes, you're over 21. Yes, this matches your face. Come in. And all of that was achieved in under 1 second.
So apart from there being benefits from a regulatory perspective to meet say licensing requirements or something like that, but there's actually a tangible business benefit for businesses using this to be able to get people in the door and to be able to not turn people away.
Yeah, absolutely. So a lot of people are turned away from places like clubs and things like that because they've got the wrong type of ID. So you might have someone coming over to Australia from a country that doesn't have English language on their driver's license. Those people can't get into clubs with that driver's license. They need to bring their passport. Who wants to bring their passport out to clubs?
So the TT, it means technology trial, right?
That's
so
right.
Tell us a little bit more about the technical workings of what we're doing with AATT.
So there's two components to it. One is we have the opportunity to either leverage a verified identity, which is like an NFC passport or some sort of chip-enabled identity, and that gives almost 100% certainty that this person is who they say they are and their age and all of that other information is correct. So in the app will basically allow you to upload that information. You do a selfie, you move your face around to prove that it's you and you're not a bot. And then what it'll do is it'll store that in your digital me, in your vault. And that is what you use to prove that you are over 16. The other mechanism that we're doing is something that we introduced quite some time ago called third-party verification. So what that means is that people without, say, a chip-enabled passport or a chip-enabled ID, they can actually allow for a third party to verify who they are and what age they are as well. And that means that the trust is between the provider of the service and that third party who has verified who they are. And that could be someone's, if we're doing age verification for people 16 and over or under 16, that could be their school, where their student card provider is. It's quite open in terms of who does that verification, but it needs to be from a trusted source.
As an example again, for social media, how easy would that integration be?
Oh, it's very easy. So we've got a product called ShareRing, and ShareRing allows you to create a question. And that question in this case is, are you over 16? And then what that does is it basically connects to the social media company's front end, and it builds what's called a session-aware QR code that's presented, or if it's on their mobile phone, a link that they simply tap. If they do it on their sort of computer for a website, they scan the QR code with our app. It recognizes that they're over 16 and then lets them straight through. If it's on, say, a smartphone, they click the link and it does a deep link into our product, which opens our product, verifies that you're over 16. You use a biometric like a thumbprint to say, yes, I'm over 16. And then it will confirm that and send that age or the over 16 back to that social media company and let you in.
A large focus in the technology trial is around the protection of children. You said before that you have children, a large family, and I do too. Tell us a little bit more about what this means for children's safety.
Yeah, so I wouldn't be part of this if I didn't believe that it was to help protect our children. So there's some people think of this idea of government overreach and things like that. We can be umbrella parents and try too hard to protect our kids and hide them from the rest of the world and all of that sort of stuff. This isn't that, right? When you've got young kids, you're not going to let them go into certain parts of the city. You're not going to let them go to certain suburbs or places like that, right? So this is similar to that. This provides the ability to keep your kids away from potentially dangerous parts of the internet, right? So as a father, that's something that I completely support. But on the flip side, as a father, I also want to make sure that my kids are tracked. I want to make sure that my kids' identity is kept private, that they're kept safe and so on, which is why obviously the narrative of what we're offering here in terms of the privacy by design, the trusted approach, we're not sharing people's names. We're not allowing tracking of that information. We don't store any data about them. If you look at all of the solutions available, I would probably trust the ShareRing one above all. How about you?
Absolutely. I think the solution that we have in a number of ways stands out. So then how are we going to trial this? Are we going to test this out with a cohort of, say, students from a school?
Yes. So we're going to be running a hackathon with a school. And the idea behind the hackathon is what we want to do is not only just go into a school and say, let's test our technology. The hackathon gives the students the ability to just participate in, being part of that sharing ecosystem and helping to come up with new ideas for the me modules. So the idea behind the hackathon is students on day one, we'll give them a briefing on what's required and all of that sort of stuff. And then they can come up with some ideas of cool little identity-driven me modules that sit within the ShareRing app. And from the winner of it, we may actually build that one in conjunction with them. But as part of that, it gives us also the opportunity to test all of the features and functions as part of the technology trial.
So let's recap a little on the age assurance technology trial. So it's around age verification for sharing and enhancing age verification for social media platforms as an example, but really there's an application across multiple different industries. There's a need in Australia through the technology trial and through what the Australian government are doing, but there really is significant international potentials or implications around what happens in Australia may be adopted worldwide. Our ecosystem at the moment is built to be able to do this. There's no real enhancement. So as we're going through the technology trial, we're going to be able to prove ourselves quite quickly. How long do you think this process will last for?
Well, given that it's part of a government process, obviously there's a lot of stakeholders involved in this. There's the parents, there's the kids, there's the government, there's the ID providers, there's the social media platforms. So we believe that the trial will it'll be quite fast in terms of doing the initial parts of the technology trial. Those results will be public, but I think that through that process, they'll be reviewed, and then over the next sort of say 9 to 12 months, we'll obviously do some additional trials. We'll expand the community more. We'll go through that. We may bring on some either social media companies or any other types of companies that want to be part of this, and then effectively expand from there. So, I would say that it'll probably go at least until the end of this year, but we're going to start seeing results very, very quickly. They're already integrating with our platform now. We've got messages on our Slack channel where they're requesting information about how to do some integration. I think one other thing that I need to highlight is what's in it for our community. So if you're not in Australia, what is in it for our community? Well, the easy answer is it's transactions. So our platform, the whole platform is supported by the Share Ledger blockchain. And that means for every new user that signs up, it creates transactions on the blockchain as what's called a verifiable credential token, which is without trying to dive too deep into the technology, it's a one-way hash that doesn't contain any private information, but it also means that it allows the user to be the only person that holds that information, but they can't change that information, because if they did, that one-way hash wouldn't match what's on the blockchain. So we're really excited for the community and what that actually means. We do hope that you can all sort of get behind us and help promote it and help push our product.
Absolutely. And that community support is going to be important for us. And I suppose as well, if there's any links out there to social media platforms or companies that require age verification, we want them to come forward to us to be able to talk to us. We want our community to be able to support us.
Absolutely. If you want to be part of this trial, if you run any type of organization that requires some sort of age verification, we are more than happy to talk to you and be part of that trial. Let's get ahead and actually start rolling this out to a number of organizations now.
And because a lot of the trial is around protecting the vulnerable, protecting children, there's a lot of benefit in that to be able to support this process.
So thanks for joining us, and we are super excited for what the future holds during ShareRing's mega growth phase.